Hi guys, welcome to another show of Boba on Battery. Today we're going to review the first day's play of the fourth test match between India and England. So this morning, all the England fans or India fans that got up bright and early would have seen England win another vital toss, the third one in this series. And disappointingly for them, they were 30 for 3 again very early on. It's almost compulsory for them to lose 3 early wickets. And a few contributions in the middle order got them up to 200, 205 it was to be exact. But on surprisingly a very good wicket to bat on today, it's a poor effort. India had time to bat tonight. They lost Shubman Gill, who's been struggling throughout the series after the first test, and ended the day's play on 24 for 1, which leaves them 181 runs behind. So Badri, what's your overall feeling? Like in a review, like analysis of the day's play, what do you think where the game stands at the moment?
Where it stands at the moment, Bobo, to be honest with you, a good toss to win for England. Again, third toss out of 4.
Yeah.
In test matches, you have a bit of an advantage, especially in India, actually in anywhere in test, but in India especially, having to bat last, if it lasts that long on day 5, having to chase a total down of any sort is always difficult. So it's always good to put the pressure and scoreboard sort of runs on the board and scoreboard pressure. England sort of 200 as an overall. I think they were well short. I think they were short of at least of 100, 150 runs. India got them out for what, 205?
Yeah. So, but we've got to congratulate them, Battery. They got to 200 after a long time. It's been a month since the first test.
Of course. If you look at it like that, they've not been getting to 200, but if you look at the pitch, the amount of sort of the talk that was on the previous test wicket, this was an absolutely fine wicket. Even those that were criticizing the last one have come out and said there's no excuses today.
Yeah,
so they didn't get off to a good start. 30 for 3, then it's sort of like a stop-start innings, to be honest with you, but a few good contributions from Stokes. Best up the top, nothing. 28. Pope did okay. Daniel Lawrence was a sort of significant contribution, but it's really Stokes is the only one who got a half century. And when you're 30 for 3 on day 1 on a good batting wicket, you're always up against it.
Yeah, so talking about the 30 for 3, I was really impressed with the way Siraj bowled. He's moved the ball.
Siraj,
Pardon?
Sorry, not just only Siraj. I think Axar Patel bowled really well. I mean, again,
yeah, but Axar Patel is expected because obviously we know that so he's got the kind of mind, he's got in the wood over the English batsman. But Siraj, I mean, for English batsmen that generally say they play pace bowling pretty well, the way he set up Joe Root, taking the ball away, then bringing one back in and catching him.
Fantastic setup over 3-4 balls, beautiful. Yeah. Just it was fantastic to see, away, and it just pinned him on, and beautiful ball, really good ball.
It was outstanding. Yeah, and as I say, Stokes and Bairstow did a bit of a recovery job, and it's the first time since probably the first test match where the two batsmen looked in control, and before Siraj got the big wicket of Bairstow. But then talking about England's openers, go on, Battery, say again.
Yeah, I mean, I was just gonna mention that point anyway about Sibley. Sibley got out, for 2, faced 8 balls, missed a straight ball, and then Zach Crawley, he came down the wicket, didn't he?
Yeah, well, at least there's a method to his madness. As I said, method to his madness. I can see with Zach Crawley what he's trying to do. Now, obviously, we don't want to criticize the batting too much. We know the surfaces haven't been easy, but when I look at some of these England batsmen, it looks like they're making the same mistakes again. This is their 6th test match of the winter for summer, when we know with the rotation policy. And with some of the best coaches in the world, it still doesn't look like that they've developed a defensive technique to kind of survive on these pitches.
I personally don't think as a simple fact is that I don't think they'll ever will do, but that is their Achilles heel. They cannot play. Traditionally, they're not good players as a spinner. I don't think they're going to learn anytime soon. Yeah, and the fact that when you got good quality spinners, Bobo, you know what? They keep coming at you, man. I mean, sometimes if you play safe, you get out. If you try to be positive, you get out. What do you do then?
No, but I'm not saying sort of, Yeah, but I'm not telling them to become Rahul Dravid and VVS Lakshman. What I'm saying, at least get slightly better, show some kind of signs of improvements, So you're into your elite cricketers, your professional cricketers, you're playing for your country. There's something about you that's got you there. Surely there's got to be some signs of improvement. And at least Ben Stokes, he's a world-class cricketer. He actually showed decent defensive technique, played pretty well, played the seamers quite easily as he normally does. But then again, he fell the same way as well. Normally he gets out to Ashwin, but today he got out to Sundar instead. Same way, the ball skidding through for off spinner LBW. Now, surely, come on. Why is this? Why do we keep happening?
The only decision that I can say was actually two dismissals that were unlucky. One was Bairstow's. It was an umpire's call, but at first I thought it was high.
Yeah, it looked high.
That was one. That looked high for me. And the other one was Pope, where he hit it onto his back leg and sort of very unlucky. Other than that, to be honest with you, I mean, going back to the start of the play, England won the toss. They played with 8 batsmen, 9 as best. So
I think Don Best is playing as a batsman.
Yeah, a very heavy batting lineup.
Yeah.
8 batsmen and all rounding best. Yeah, and 9, and then
all rounder that only bats with Don Best.
Well, I mean, you've got one front line spinner and one front line bowler, one front line seamer, and if you want to include Best as a second,
Joe Root is the second. Get it right, Battery. Joe Root is the second spinner. Yeah.
And then he's the third. But I thought it was a big gamble, and obviously 200 didn't pay off with the batting, did it? So that didn't pay off. And 205, they got there, stumbled over 200, and obviously there's a few overs left. I thought Anderson bowled well in terms of figures, but I don't think he was attacking the stumps enough.
He wasn't.
He got a wicket.
Yeah, it seemed to be like it's one of those terms that the cricketers use, bowling pretty. So it seemed to be hiding the ball a little bit outside the off stump. Obviously, you got the early wicket of Gill.
Good length. Nothing.
Yeah.
Look, the only thing is, though, you got to bowl full and straight. You got to bowl full and straight to give the ball a chance to swing. That's his strength.
Something at least. Make the batsman play with the new ball. Yeah.
And whether you go for runs or not, the fact that you're not gonna contain India by bowling like that, and the fact that Anderson is more effective with the new ball, and after that you've got Stokes at the other end and then Leach on straight away. Anderson, as the spearhead of the attack, has to go a little bit more fuller and has to try to get wickets.
Yeah,
the fact that he got shot who does, he's struggling.
He's very static at the crease. But I've noticed he's very stiff and static at the crease, and he just stands and plays the ball.
At the moment, but to be honest with you, there's going to be a lot of question marks with him as well, because they've got a lot of openers knocking on that door, and I think the fact that he had a good series,
good run of Australia as well.
Yeah, but I think he's got to start improving. But then the Rohit Sharma didn't really look to be, just took his time. Pujara looked good in what he come in at. He
had good intent, using his feet to lead.
Yeah, good intent.
Well.
And the hitman is there tomorrow in the morning, Sharma, and with Kohli, I just got a feeling he's going to go big. I might be wrong, but I just got a feeling he's well overdue, and I think I'm going to call it. He's going to get a big 100. I just got a feeling Kohli's due one.
He's one of those. Kohli's one of those players that he's got a few runs, a few 50s this series, but none of his runs have contributed anyway or affected the game in any way. Obviously, his runs in the first test, the 60 or second innings they lost. The runs in Chennai were irrelevant. The lead was already 250, 270. So you're right. He is due a big knock. Just a quick one before we finish on England's batting. Dan Lawrence, he seems to have temperament. He seems to have temperament. Fantastic.
Okay.
Right. We'll just talk about Lawrence.
So you froze there. Can you hear me now? You're back now. Can you hear me now? Yeah.
Yeah, I could hear you before, Battery. I'm sure some of the viewers are happy that you couldn't be heard, but yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
What do you think about him? What do you think about Lawrence?
He's not bad. He's not bad. He's not a bad cricketer. He looks tidy.
He's a bit quirky.
It's hard to judge on him, Bobo.
Yeah.
Hey?
He looks a bit quirky.
No, I didn't say quirky. I said it's a bit. It's hard to put a judgment on him at the moment, Bobo. Especially on India. So I'll leave him a couple of more innings. But he didn't do bad. He didn't do bad today.
He had good intent. So there we go. So as I said, India 181 behind with 9 wickets left. Even though the pitch was obviously a lot easier to play than the second and third test match pitches, I personally saw enough to think that the ball's going to be turning a long way, probably by even after lunch tomorrow. So
But
in
you know
terms
what?
of India's plans, what do you think?
It didn't turn that much today, though. You know, but it wasn't like
It didn't turn a lot. Do you know why? Because we're looking, it's all relative to the eye. Because we've been used to the second and third test match pitches, we're just saying, oh, it's not turned too much today. But if this pitches the first test match in the series, we'll be saying there's quite a lot of turn on offer. So I think
oh yeah, in
there's been
comparison
enough.
to the second and third.
There's been enough, but I'm just thinking. As India, what do you reckon? Obviously, it's easy to say they're going to look to play out tomorrow and get
I can see by the close of play tomorrow, Bobo, India going with about 150 lead.
So can you see them scoring 300 plus runs tomorrow?
I can see India scoring 300 plus runs tomorrow. Yeah,
I think the route will be defensive. Anderson will sit back with the defensive line. I don't think they'll be able to score quickly, but but you're right.
But there's plenty of time. But even if I think they'll be I think even if they're 100 lead by tomorrow, I think they'll get 300 runs. I think there's so much time left in the game. India will bat once, and that's it.
So, and yeah, so what again? So quickly trying to put figures on it. Tomorrow, obviously, England's plan will be to take a couple of early wickets. Otherwise, it's going to be a long day of
key is the first hour in the morning, Bobo. The key is the first hour.
The cliche. The first hour, I reckon they need 2 wickets at least. England.
Yeah,
and what kind of lead do you think is insurmountable for England? For England to get anything over 75, 100 is too much for them? Do you think?
I think anything over 125, 150, Bobo.
You're being generous to England there, so that means if okay, that for me that just makes it impossible for England, because I can't see them getting more than 250 on this pitch, and that's going to require 2 really good contributions. So. Yeah, so as we say, we and Betty both think obviously India in full control, but still not all doom and gloom for England. They've still got an opportunity to get back in the game, and tomorrow's a big day, especially the first hour, and which will ultimately probably decide the series as well, how it goes. We're just going to end by talking about the disappointing news from Pakistan about the PSL. We all know obviously the COVID pandemic, and unfortunately there have been too many cases, and the Pakistan Cricket Board and the organisers have decided to postpone the tournament. Now, apart from just talking about the long-term consequences of this, how do you think that it's been handled, the whole situation, by the PCB?
To be honest with you, Bobo, we haven't got the time. Otherwise, I would have done an hour on this. Very disappointed, Bobo, with the way PCB have handled all this. I think, like you said, with the COVID, it's obviously, we've seen the Premier League, we've seen sort of other sport events going on around the world, cricket being played. We've had Pakistan host South Africa in a test and T20.
Yeah, IPL was played in Dubai. Yeah.
IPL. We've had the Sri Lanka Premier League. You've had cricket in West Indies. You've had cricket in Australia. You've had cricket in New Zealand. Pakistan have been on a few tours. They've been to a bubble here in England where they were.
It's like being in prison, yeah.
Where they were at Derby in a bubble. They were in Lancashire for a bubble. And I feel PCB have got this horribly wrong, Bobo. What was the writing was on the wall initially? I don't know if you can remember when what's happened. There was 2 players that breached the bubble.
Was it Wahab Riaz I heard of?
Wahab Riaz and Darren Sammy, and they met with the team owner who wasn't in the bubble, and they were asked to do a 3-day quarantine, which is mad because I've never heard of a 3-day quarantine.
It's a new 3-day thing, yeah.
Pointless because it doesn't show up. And what's happened? They actually, a bit of pressure was put on by a few individuals, and PCB sort of bowed down and let them back in and play. And the regular testing and the bio bubble was. There was no such thing.
Basically, it's meant to not secure at all.
You've had weddings going on. You've had the general public, and I don't know what bio bubble. And I was just listening before coming on. There was an owner of one of the franchises, Karachi, and he actually went into the bio bubble to see all these protocols being breached because a lot of players had sort of raised the alarm bells, and people were not taking notice. They were trying to brush it under the carpet, and you can't risk. With COVID, Bobo, you can't risk it with all these pictures.
Of course. I think that's clear in terms of the risk associated with COVID.
And to be honest with you, the fact that it's really painful to see because the brand of PSL, there's a lot of people that put a lot of hard work in. We've had 5 years of solid hard work to bring international cricket back to Pakistan, along with international current players, Bobo, and then to jeopardize it with this is actually really,
that's what I was
really
going to finish on. I'm going to finish on the point. Obviously, the embarrassment of a tournament not finishing, even though it's been postponed, and the fans missing out. What about the financial ramifications in terms of, look, we've got the Sky Sports have been covering this series, and the PSL going all over the world. How do you reckon that's going to affect the PCB?
You know what, Bobo? You're not going to see the direct sort of implication. You're not going to see. We can't even calculate it. I don't think we will ever be able to, but I think it's going to affect so many ways.
Especially grassroots Pakistan needing funding.
Grassroots, I mean, to be honest with you, grassroots, forget cricket, sports is pretty much finished. And we'll have to do a program on that soon. You know, the fact that the whole structure and PCB has to be held accountable, not just one guy, but as an institute. They've been making, this is not just one mistake, they've been making mistakes after mistakes on various other things. And this is the final nail in the coffin. So it's very embarrassing, to be honest with you. It is
embarrassing. So thank you, Battery, for I know you're getting a bit emotional and upset about this. So again, it's very sad news. All the fans around the world, especially Pakistani fans.
The reason why, but to be honest with you, because I know a lot of friends and people that have worked as commentators there, as coaching staff there, as people just worked at all levels, players there on an individual basis, and people have made so many sacrifices. And the fact that due to incompetency by PCB, and they've let a lot of people down.
You're right, especially after our hard work, especially the good work that Wasim Khan's done in terms of getting the Pakistan image right. The image of Pakistan cricket is improved all around the world. A
lot of people are using Wasim Khan as a scapegoat.
I'm not blaming him. I'm not blaming him. I'm just saying he's done a lot of good work.
I've had a lot of people, and I've seen a lot of people blame him, and I personally think, you know what, Bobo, he is not. It's the institute. He's just one man, and to be honest with you, he's done a lot of good work. How much can he do? And I just want to end it by saying,
stupid to try to jeopardize the PSL.
There needs to be an inquiry, and someone needs to be held.
There needs to be accountability. There needs to be accountability. Hopefully, thank you for your views. I said, hopefully, it's one of those we're just going to sit, wait, and watch, and hopefully, we'll find out in the future what happens. And hopefully, the ramifications financially and cricketing wise are not too deep. At the moment, it doesn't look very good. So thank you, Bertie, for joining me today to review the test match and what's happened.
Guys, do the usual stuff: like and subscribe, share the content, hit the bell icon. Please show us your support. Anything you want us to do, any questions in the comment section. We are actually going on Facebook now as well. We have got a page on there, Bobo and Badri, if you like it.
Yeah. And it's one of those, guys. If you want to criticize, just do that as well. That's all. It helps us to improve. So thank you for joining us again tonight, everyone. And stay safe. And hopefully we'll see you again to review the second day's play. And after what happened in the last test match, anything could happen. We could be talking about the end of the game. Hopefully not, but we'll see what happens. So thank you, guys. See you next time.